Vocal topic of the week 11, mic technique. Microphones. All right, so important to know about mics. I have the mic set up in the studio, as you guys know, who study with me, for lessons because they're a big part. They're a big part of singing. I mean, most of the time nowadays, when you sing in public, you're going to be using microphones. So it's important to know how to use them and how to get used to performing with them. It used to be that I wouldn't have them in the studio, and then we would do recitals years ago. And every time that a student got up to sing, I found that they were shell-shocked by the sound of their voice and the PA and how to hold the mic. And you have to think about it like an expressive tool. It's a part of your expressive arsenal as a singer in the way that you use it technically. So let's talk about that now. When you're singing soft, well, first of all, let's look at the types of mics. This is a dynamic mic. All right, this is a dynamic mic, and this one over here, this is a condenser microphone. Okay. I want to talk to you a little bit about the differences between those real quick. More or less, basically, and I'm not, there's exceptions to this. Well, let me just say this. Microphones have their own color. They have their own influence on the sound. So there's no right or wrong. It's like a paintbrush kind of, okay? And this paintbrush has a different sound than this paintbrush, all right? And they pick up frequencies in a little bit different way, okay? So, and not only that, there are some things different in the type of microphone they are. A dynamic microphone doesn't have electricity, doesn't have current running through it to give it this sort of extra pick up sound power. So it only has a very small radius around which it picks up sound, which is good for live performances because when you're playing with a band and the drums are super loud behind you, if you had a microphone like this one that was super sensitive, you're going to find that it grabs everything and feeds back really easily. So this one is a dynamic microphone. It's not powered. It grabs a much smaller radius of distance, so it's good for live performance. Okay, this microphone is a knockoff of the SM58, which is the sort of workhorse microphone from 1958 that was like, you know, it's like you can throw it at things, it doesn't break, they're amazing. This is the Audix OM2, which I like. It has a really good a noise rejection for live performance. So I have two of those. All right, this microphone over here is a condenser microphone. Condenser microphones you see usually in vocal booths, recording overhead mics for drums, and you use them in so many recording contexts. But these microphones are because they require electricity. They require a current running through them to capture sound. It gives them an ability to amp up their ability to grab more sound. So they're much more sensitive, which is great for doing vocals in a booth because you get all that sort of intimate consonants and stuff. These microphones grab all of it, and typically they grab the whole frequency range from 20,000 hertz down to 20 hertz, which is the range that the frequency, the hertz range that the human ear, average human ear, can hear. And the condenser microphones are designed to grab every sound. And so they're used in vocal booths, very accurate grabbing. But you don't need that much accuracy in a live show. In fact, this microphone feeds back crazy almost every time I try to use it in a live context, okay? Anyway, so these are the mics. Now let's talk about actual singing with a microphone and how to do that. So if we're in a live show and we've got a mic like this, all right? You pretty much here's what you want to think of. When you're singing soft, come in close to the mic. When you get louder, pull away from the mic. Or when you get louder, turn your face to the side. All right? So in an example like, I'm singing really intimate songs, ooh, and we got this scratchy, so I'm really soft, ooh, and then I get loud, and then we get, oh, and you start pulling away a bit as you start to belt. More, and here's the idea. The human voice has a huge variation in amplitude or volume level or loudness. It's a big change in louds and softs in a singer relative to other instruments. Like a good thing about a guitar, like a rhythmic guitar, once it gets going, it kind of rides more or less. I mean, of course, there are exceptions. It rides at that volume level throughout the song. But the vocal could go big or get really soft. And so There's software programs, and when you record a song, there's lots of things in the software you can do to make the voice sound even throughout the song when someone's singing loud and soft. But in a live show, it can be a little more complicated. There are still ways to do that, but many of you guys, when you're performing, you're not going to be performing with your own sound engineer who's writing your vocals in the live show. And when you go big, they sometimes an engineer will do that in a club and you'll get a good one, but I think it's more, I think that your vocals sounding good in a live performance, I don't know, it's tricky. I was about to say that it's rare to have the vocals mixed well in a live show. And maybe it is. Like, God, lately, I would have to say that it's rare that the vocals sound well mixed in clubs. So, I mean, you've got a big responsibility yourself to try to do everything you can to make your singing as easy to mix as possible. So, by doing this, by learning microphone technique and making it muscle memory that when you sing soft, you're here, and when you get loud, you pull away, and you either pull back or just turn to the side. You can feel where your mouth is grabbing, you can feel where the microphone's grabbing sound, all right? And also, another thing with mic technique, don't hold it like this. You want to vibrate the diaphragm in there. You're blowing, the sound's going right over it. It still will grab it, but just by experimenting with the mic, you're going to figure out what kinds of sounds it makes, all right? Generally, as far as distance goes for live shows, I don't like to put my mouth on, especially if I'm at a gig, because first of all, it makes the too much. That's got those plosives can really pop on it, and also it's just hygiene. You want to kind of be mindful of that with mics, especially if it's not your own. And I do recommend you getting these mics are like $100 in SM58. You should get one of those, get your own mic and bring it to gigs, just so that you're not using the nasty mic of somebody who's, those mics are nasty at bars. So get your own mic, okay? So like I said, soft, turn to the side, pull back. You'll really develop a sense of it the more you do it, you'll develop a sense of your vocal, the sensation of your voice sonically in the room and how it's affecting. You can feel when you go for a big note if everybody goes like that because it's so loud, and you can intuitively sense that eventually if you don't already, and you'll figure out that that distance. Okay. Now, this microphone has here. This is called a pop filter. They make these in like cloth form or metal. This one's metal. I found this to be a little better. It kind of diffuses the air a little bit better. And a pop filter, the idea of a pop filter is that the air disperses before it hits the microphone, especially with these. These microphones are so sensitive that if I were just to sing like this, and I even did a p from here, it's going to go, wow, sound like someone kicked the microphone. So this stops that from happening because the air gets dispersed as it goes through there. With these microphones in general, you can really experiment in a studio. There are, these microphones have a different sound right here than they do if you're back in different distances from them, I found in experimenting. And since I have the vocal booth, I can really experiment with getting further away from the microphone before I have to be concerned about grabbing too much room noise, And that's the thing to understand about recording mics just in general. If you guys are recording, you've got like a USB mic at home, or you've got a nice mic that you're working with a Neumann or something like this one. The distance from the mic is important if you're in a mediocre to not so great sound recording environment, you're in your room and or you try to get in the closet and just try to you're figuring it out. You want to be as close to the mic as you can without the pop filters happening, provided the color of the tone is not compromised too much by being so close. You want to be close because then you don't have to turn it up as loud, so you'll be able to hide more the sound. The further away you get from the microphone, the more room and your vocals it's going to pick up at the same time, all right? So, yeah, keep that in mind. All right, that's a little bit on mic technique. I feel like I have a lot more to say about it. Maybe I'll do another video. All right, thanks. So it's week 11. We were behind a little bit. Last week was kind of a whirlwind week, so I'm doing a double duty today. All right?